You know the story of Beauty and the Beast, right? A beautiful woman, selfless love, a monster who magically turns into a prince. It's this incredibly powerful, romantic idea. But what if that's not the real story? Let's dive into what this classic fable actually tells us about love and about change. Okay, so right from the beginning, the story is hinting at something much deeper. Listen to what Beauty is saying here. She's not promising to fix him. She's not looking at his potential. She's actually accepting him, the beast, exactly as he is. And that little detail, that's a huge deal, and it's the part our modern version seems to completely forget. But yeah, despite that pretty clear clue, our culture has really latched onto a totally different idea, one that's all about a woman's amazing power to transform a man.
We've basically boiled it down into this simple four-step formula. You know the drill. A good woman finds a broken guy, she pours perfect, selfless love onto him, and poof, that love magically fixes him, turns him into a prince, and only then do they get to live happily ever after. It's sold to us as, like, the ultimate romantic prize.
And this isn't just stuck in old storybooks. This idea is woven so deeply into our culture. You see it in movies, you read it in magazines, you hear it all the time. This message that a woman's love can and honestly should redeem a man. It basically makes his change her job.
So what happens when that fairy tale fantasy crashes into the real world? Well, love stops being about partnership, and it turns into a project. This is where that dynamic of loving too much starts to creep in, and it's usually built on a really powerful psychological defense.
And that defense mechanism is denial. It's so much more than just ignoring the facts. It's a deep subconscious refusal to see reality on two different levels. First, you refuse to see what's actually going on. And second, you refuse to let yourself feel how you actually feel about it. You know, the anger, the fear, the disappointment. It's a way to build a little fantasy world that's just easier to live in than the truth. A lot of times, this whole pattern gets its start way back in childhood. For a kid in a difficult or, a dysfunctional family, denial is a survival tool. It helps them cope with emotions that are just way too big to handle. But here's the problem. What happens when that tool, which was designed for a child's survival, gets carried into adult relationships? Well, it becomes an unhealthy habit that just runs on autopilot.
So if you're working so hard to deny what's really happening, what are you doing instead? You're trying to manage it. And that's where denial hooks up with another really powerful and often invisible motivation, the need for control.
And this, right here, is the key. What we often call helping someone, trying to fix their problems or change their habits or manage their whole life for them, so often, it's really a subconscious need to control them. It's our way of dealing with our own anxiety by trying to manage the person who's making us anxious.
This quote from a woman named Janice is, wow, it's just so powerful because it lays this whole dynamic bare. She said that when her husband finally got sober, she felt like she'd been fired from her most important job. Can you believe that? His weakness made her feel needed. It made her feel safe. His strength, his recovery, that was actually scarier to her because she lost her sense of control.
Somebody once saw a sign in a counselor's office that put it just perfectly. Help is the sunny side of control. It feels so good, right? It feels so virtuous and selfless. But deep down, it's not really about them. It's about trying to make ourselves feel better by changing them. Okay, so let's go all the way back to our fairy tale. Because if you look really closely, Beauty and the Beast has this profound spiritual truth buried inside of it. It's like a secret map that just flips our whole popular interpretation completely upside down. So look at this, it's a total reversal. The version we all know says the goal is to change him, the way to do it is to control him, and the whole thing is built on denial. But the deeper, truer meaning shows us the real goal is to accept him. The method is to let go, and the foundation is reality. So the real magic of the story was never about Beauty's power to turn a beast into a prince. The magic was in her power to love a beast for being a beast. She doesn't feel sorry for him, she doesn't try to fix him, and it's because of that honest-to-goodness acceptance that he is finally free to become his own best self. That's the transformation. Okay, so how do we take this really profound lesson and actually apply it to our own lives? How do we find a real happily ever after that isn't about waiting for someone else to change? The secret is to take all of that energy, think about it, all the worrying, the planning, the managing, the trying, and redirect it from your partner back to your own life. When you focus that energy inward on your own growth, your own interests, your own happiness, you're not giving up. You're finally taking your power back. And that's where you find true freedom.
So this path really has 4 clear steps. First, you have to accept that you cannot fundamentally change another person. That means letting go of control. Second, you have to respect their right to be who they are, even if you don't like it. That means you have to start focusing on yourself. Third, you've got to acknowledge that their problems are not your job to solve. You have to put down that heavy weight. And finally, you reclaim all of that energy to build a life that you find fulfilling. You start walking your own path, no matter which path they choose. And in the end, the fairy tale leaves us with this one powerful question. We spend so much time believing our happiness depends on fixing the people we love. But what if the real journey, the one that actually leads to a happy ending, isn't about learning to change them, but about learning to love and accept ourselves right here, right now, just the way we are?